What's up, everyone? You might be doing this wrong, so let's see if you are. And was that good? That was a good intro. So if you're still watching, sick. We're going to be talking about finding your correct draw length, but not at a super beginning stage. Like you're not a first timer. You have a bow, but we're going to see if you already have it set up to be the right way. So we're gonna go through a couple things, and this is all pretty common knowledge. I'm kind of like regurgitating from some of my mentors, some of the stuff that's online, and just putting it in a video together, and maybe I'll explain it in a way that you'll understand. So we'll see. So how should we do this? Let's cut. Okay, we're back. Switch positions. So we're gonna go over first a couple things, a couple signs that your draw length might be wrong. And then we're gonna go through how to fix that and go through what you actually should be doing. And the end result, the end goal, I'm not trying to criticize anyone. We're just trying to shoot better. And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, in order to shoot better, you do things right in this semi-standard way. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. So right here, I have my hunting rig, because I'm assuming most of you guys have hunting rigs. Some have target rigs. We'll go through that too. But this is number one. So let's say you're a teenager. You had a bow. You had a draw length of, let's say, 26 inches. Well, as you grew up, you got taller, but you never changed your draw length, and you changed your body to your bow. And that's not wrong. And that's what happens to a lot of people. So let's say, light bulb. Let's say you look like this with your front arm. Ignore my back, but your front arm is super bent. Now, you can shoot pretty good with a bent arm like that, but that is one indication that your draw length might be a little too short. And this is very, very common. Short? Yeah, very, very common in younger, let's say 17, 18, even 16, when you're growing so fast. So if you see that yourself has a front bent arm, you probably have a little too short a draw. And people will say, well, when hunting season comes around and I got a bunch of layers on, I want to have a bent arm. So, if that's the case, that's fine, like whatever. You can still shoot very well. And this is one instance that is not the most terrible thing in the entire world, because you can shoot very well with a bent arm, but it can be hard to be repeatable the same exact way. Number two, we're gonna do three indicators of why your draw length might be wrong. So this one is why your draw length might be a little too long. And in the old days, people were like, well, long draw length, more feet per second, and they were having just crazy long draw length. So if your draw length looks anything like this, where you're back on your cheek, your wrist is way back here, and you're looking through your peep sight like this, your draw length's a little too long. And I'm not going to talk about how to fix it. We're just talking about indicators of maybe, oh yeah, that's me. Your draw lengths are probably a little too long. And also, Mitch, come from behind me. Look at like my elbow alignment. So when your draw length is a little too long, I can't even do it. Your elbow is like swung way low and to the right. And even by doing that, my shoulder is just like extremely pinched. So when you do things wrong, your muscles aren't acting how they should when shooting a bow. And number three is a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit harder to see. And it's something that can creep up if you're growing and then you just stuck with it. Or if you're in the stage of like, yeah, I feel kind of short, but you just deal with it, you never change anything. Because it's a lot of work to change your draw length sometimes. You gotta go up to a pro shop, you gotta explain to them, convince them like, hey, my draw length's a little too short, I need different mods. Then you have to order mods, and then you gotta bring it back up and put it on your bow once they're in. So it is a lot of work. A lot of people just don't do it. It is one of those things where it's like, it's good enough. But it can make a big, big difference. So this is an indication that your draw length is a little too short. Now, let's say for the growing person, let's say you're 15, 14, right about before your final growth spurt, and you have a perfect draw length. Well, let's say you grew a bunch, and now your draw length should be an inch or two longer. in order, because it's subtle and you're shooting, in order for yourself to fix it, what you'll do is you'll start to creep this front shoulder back in order to get your alignment. And I gotta do that without the bow. So look at this. So let's say you're perfect. Can you see that good, Mitch?
Yep.
You're perfectly in line. Well, as you grow and your bow drawing does not change, you start to creep in like this. And my drawing's the same. I just grew. But this shoulder just came way out of alignment. Can you see that good, Mitch?
Yeah.
So it came way out of alignment. Another thing that can happen is you can raise your shoulder. And just by doing that, I get like, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches a change of draw length. And thirdly, what you can do is you can come forward. You can raise your back shoulder up into it. And this is what happens a lot. It eases up on you. It's not something like where you set up a bow. Let's say you're done growing, you set up a bow, you get the right draw length. Most of the time, you're pretty dang close. This is something that happens over time. You shrink up, you try to get that draw length, you just try to make it work because you just don't know, for one, or you just don't want to order mods and do it. So this is how we fix that. So to fix this, it might take a little bit of trial or error, like ordering 2 mods and playing with them both and seeing which one feels better, which one looks better. And a really good way to figure out how your draw length looks is to actually film yourself. Have someone film you, you can review it, you can look at it, and you can learn from it. It's kind of hard to go off a feel on this one because it is very much so an alignment type issue. So Mitch, come behind me again. When you have perfect draw length, the tip of your elbow should be perfectly in line all the way back. And that's one way. So let me draw back. You can see that my elbow is perfectly in line with my shoulders all the way down my bow. And what that does is it keeps all the pressure even throughout your body. There's no like extra pressure points, there's no strained muscles. It keeps everything, your bones connected, in line. Now you can achieve that still by scrunching yourself up, twisting and turning. You can still have your elbow in the correct spot. So that's not the only indicator. There's several indicators. This is a great tip from actually George Riles. I'm gonna play a little bit of his segment right now to explain that a little bit better.
So just to sum this up, when you're double checking draw length or you have people who have grown into their bows or the draw length has become short over the summer during a growth spurt or something like that, is pay attention to their shoulder line and any body adjustments that they may make to get into the bow as they draw back. And they can be pretty sneaky with that, so you have to watch very closely. So you want them to be able to raise, draw, and then open into the bow and anchor like so. An incorrect or an indicator of short draw length if they raise and draw and then go to get into the bow this way, making a Z kind of in their upper body there. So keep a close eye on that and watch videos of yourself if you're growing or if you think that you may have a draw length that's a little too short, and pay attention to your shoulder alignment, to the target, and whether if that changes in order for you to get to the string.
So this is very important, and it's something that I mess with very, very small now. So if you go through all those steps, you got the major 1/2 inch increments. Let's say you had to lengthen your draw length 1 inch or shorten 1 inch to get to this point. Well, now you can fine tune it by really paying attention to what your sight picture does. So kind of a rule of thumb, this has been around for a long time, is if your aiming is super loose on the target, you're just constantly moving nice and slow, that's an indication that your draw length is a little too long. You're a little too overextended and your movements are nice and slow. And on the flip side of that, if your movements are super sporadic, your pin it'll sit there for a second and then it'll have these sporadic movements outside of the 10 ring or the middle of the target. That's an indication that your draw length is a little too short. And this is very fine-tuned. Like if you know a little bit about bows or you bring it to your tech expert, you can actually change your bow by twisting the cables. And don't go messing around with this. Try to find a video or something on it if you got a bow press at home. But you can actually fine tune it by, you know, a 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. You don't have to do these big 1/2 inch jumps that most cams have. But draw length is super important. And it's super important, you know, drawing your bow is very important. I already did a video on this, to not jack up your shoulders, but so is draw length. You know, after a while, when your shoulders are up high, you can get super fatigued. If you're like this, you can get super fatigued. If your back shoulder's up high, you get fatigued. It can mess stuff up. And all we're trying to do is just better ourselves as archers and everything. So like I said, I'm not trying to critique anyone. I'm just saying, to try to help you, try to be a little bit better bow hunter, try to be a little bit better target archer. So anyways, hope I opened your eyes maybe a little bit on it. I don't know, or maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my draw length is way off. Is it an inch off?
Yeah,
maybe 3 inches off, yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this quick little tip. Let me know what you want to hear next. I thought this would be a good idea, especially in the off season now, from hunting season, indoor season kind of just wind down. It's a good time to mess around with some things. But anyways, make sure to check out BeRealMerch.com. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, let me know what you think. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.